I needed a quick vacation, and since there's a ski mountain only a couple of hours from my house, I decided to hop in the car this morning at 5:30. Lifts are gonna open soon. The people are piling in. I thought maybe I'd show you what I eat on this quick turnaround ski trip. Hey everybody, this is Dylan. I've been working too hard, so I thought I needed to get out of town, do a little skiing. So I thought, oh, I'll show you what I eat. Maybe do some sort of vloggy video, which I'm terrible at. All right, y'all, it is lunchtime, so I want to show you my pack and what I brought with me. This looks like a pretty big pack to be skiing with, and I sort of made it this big to test it out. I knew when I left this morning that I didn't need to put this much stuff in it, but I wanted to see how awkward it would be skiing with this pack, and it was a piece of cake. It was no big deal, so I was pretty happy about that. But let me show you. I also have never been to this mountain, so the reason I brought so much stuff that I would have known that I wouldn't need is because I haven't been here. So I brought a bunch of food. I brought some backpacking food and stuff like that there's no reason for me to make backpacking food. If I came on this trip, did a one-day trip, I would clearly just bring the hot thermos full of soup that I heated up this morning. So before I left the house at like 5:30, a little bit before this morning, and I heated up some stew that I made last night for dinner, and I bet you it's still steaming hot in here. So we'll get to that. That's what I'm gonna actually eat for lunch. So this is just like one of those standard CamelBak packs with your 100-ounce water bladder, which is probably more than I would need for one day of skiing, but I've got plenty of water, which has been nice to just suck on. And like I said, this was not that awkward to carry. I couldn't believe it. I'm obviously going to remove a lot of the stuff that you're about to see because I know that I don't need it. I knew I didn't need it because I got such good parking. I got here a little early, so the parking was right next to the lift. I knew I was gonna come back here to grab food and make this quick little video for lunch. So I decided to carry all this stuff anyway because I wanted to feel the weight in the pack, and it was like seriously no big deal. I don't think it hindered my skiing at all. So I've got a bag of grapes. I have some dry roasted unsalted pistachios from Trader Joe's that are essentially drugs. A bag of also drugs, the dried mango, no sugar added. One of my bags of, this is the backpacking food that I freeze dried. So this is the kitchery that I freeze dried in this bag, and then I would add like 3 cups of water to this. Then I've got some stuff. This is the overkill stuff now. It's ridiculous. I didn't need this. Understand me. But I called this little screen is for, this opens up and goes around your burner if it's windy. I'll show you this to you like when I actually do a hiking trip. My little burner, this is just my little burner to boil water. It sits on top of the little gas can. I don't know if you guys are familiar with all this stuff, but this is like backpacking camping gear. And then I've got my cup, my pot, I guess. And this is a really light, I love this pot. It is so lightweight. It's this Toaks titanium. It fits 3 cups of water, which is nice. You can't really do 3 cups because as soon as it boils, it's exploding all over. And then I've got the little burner, so there's the little gas tank. The burner screws onto the top of this, and then this sits on top of the burner, and you can boil water. I did that in my hiking video that I'll link above if you want to see that. But I'm not going to need this stuff. These things are bulletproof. They're amazing. And I just can't believe how light it is. So this was no problem whatsoever in my pack on the ski hill today. And then I've got a couple of other things. Here's a little first aid kit. I also brought, this is a survival little blanket thing. I forget what it actually is. Is it like a sleeping bag? It's an emergency bivvy. There you go. I like to have all that wild stuff. Obviously, for a mountain this populated, that is completely unnecessary, but it's also weightless, so I just keep it in my pack all the time. And that's everything that I had in my pack. So obviously this stuff is completely unnecessary and just took up space. I mean, but it's like a pound, so who cares? But I'll just leave that out. And I don't obviously need this, which is what I was gonna eat. So I could have just kicked it up at the top of the mountain somewhere and hidden in the forest and made food. I love having little snacks like the grapes and the mango and the pistachio are really nice. I also grabbed a few Lara bars. So this stuff's really nice to have when you're just on the ski lift and you wanna just grab a quick bite before you hit the runs again, you know what I'm saying? So because this is a car trip, I did bring my cooler, which is nice. So I've got a nice chest of cold LaCroix. I also threw, oh boy, grapes everywhere. So I'll eat these. A couple more Lara bars and an apple. I already ate one apple on the run. That was really nice. And it's nice to just have some ice cold Kirkland signature version of LaCroix. All right, so here's what I actually brought to eat. What I decided late last night after I made this stew, and remember that I already have this beautiful soup thermos, is I heated up some of this veggie rice chili that I made. It looks good, doesn't it? It's just veggies, rice. Let's see if it's still hot. Oh yeah, there's a little steam. It's like not my kind of hot. It won't burn my mouth, but it's nice and warm. It's definitely a refreshing treat. And so the cool thing about these thermoses, thermi, is that you can, the lid on this big soup one, first of all, it has the wide mouth, and then it has the lid acts as a bowl, okay? So that's cute. So it's a pretty nice treat to have a warm meal. I know this would only work for like a one-day trip unless you're staying somewhere that has a little kitchen. Then like if you went on a ski trip for a weekend where there's a kitchen, you could prep food like this. It'd be pretty cool. But if you're on a multi-day trip where you don't have a kitchen available, then you're gonna need to bring food along, like backpacking food, boil your own water. A CamelBak like this is a little bit larger CamelBak than I probably needed, as you saw. But these kinds of tools, like my burner and my pot, you could heat water, make your own backpacking food, and at least wouldn't be eating all of the deep fried garbage that they sell in the restaurant. So you got options. Or you can just not have a hot meal and eat. Like one thing I was gonna bring, but I didn't have time to make, were oat clusters. I could have brought a bunch of oat clusters. That would have held me pretty well. And then I showed you all the fruit and stuff. I could have made a couple of sandwiches, something like that, that would have kept for several hours, obviously, no big deal. I went pretty easy and threw together this stew, which it was dinner last night, so it was perfect for me. If I was doing a multi-day ski trip, I would definitely want a kitchen because I'd want to cook for myself at night as well as prep some stuff for the morning. So it would be awfully nice to have a kitchen. But I could definitely get by in a hotel room as long as I was able to stop at the grocery store on the way up, which this mountain, and I'm sure most, are close enough to grocery stores to where you could get that done. It was a super good trip. The weather was totally amazing. I mean, it's like 40 degrees right now and sunny, and so it was really nice skiing. Now we're gonna head back to Flagstaff and grab a bite to eat. I'm gonna find some steamed veggies and plain rice because I am not cheating on my 31-day January challenge this month. No oil, so we're sticking to it. And don't forget, we've got the Super Bowl edition of the live cooking show this coming weekend, the 25th of January. We're gonna be making jalapeno poppers. We're gonna be making cauliflower bites, taquitos, a 7-layer dip. You're gonna love it. You can sign up at wellyourworld.com/cooking show. I'll see you on the next one. Thanks for watching. Bye.